Hey, this is Hamster, and I'm on my thief right now. DD. So I'm gonna go over some easy rotations real quick. It's probably not the top damage rotation, but super freaking easy to maintain, and still pushes it out there. This is some numbers from a earlier test. So started off with 30k and a half, then jump down to 29, then up back. Okay. As you can see, I'm in Marauder's Scholar and Marauder Staff. And my trinkets are kind of not the optimal at all anyway. I have a Knight's Amulet for Pete's sake. My other gear's on my Necro. But this is going to go over rotations. So how to do it. First thing you want to do is you want to evade into the mob. Okay, start the fight by evading. Alright, that does a little damage. And then, you know, it takes your endurance not full. Reason being is that you have Staff Master, boom, damage increase when you're not full endurance. Also, it's a nice little starting damage spike. It's around like a couple thousand, right? Then after that, you're going to follow up with a weakening charge. So Staff 2, boom, right through, 3 hits on a big target. Again, you have to space yourself if it's a smaller hitbox mobs. So what you do is weakening charge and then Staff 2. After that, you're going to back up and do you're going to do 1 auto attack rotation chain, followed by a Fist of Flurry. Okay, what you're going to do is, to simplify this rotation, you're going to alternate Fist of Flurry and Impair Daggers every other rotation chain. So the rotation is evade, Staff 2, 2 auto attacks, and then evade and repeat. But again, you're going to do an auto attack and then one of these physical skills every other. So basically the rotation is 3 different parts. Part 1 is going to be Fist of Flurry. Part 2 is going to be Impairing Daggers. And Part 3 is just normal 2 auto attack chain. Either or. Just basically rotate these 2 into your thing. And heads up, with Impairing Daggers on quickness, you can do 2 auto attack rotations plus Impairing Daggers. But for Fist of Flurry, you want to do 1 auto attack rotation, then Fist of Flurry. Okay. Reason being is that you're going to work off this, the bound. Okay. It's going to be bounding dodger, 10% damage increase. What it's going to do is we're going to maintain 10% damage the whole time during the whole rotation. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate real quick. Again, it's going to be top damage. This isn't really top damage that I've done. And it's also on Marauders. So could always be a little better. So here we go. As you can see, I kind of screwed up with that rotation. I missed one of these utility skills, but the damage is still quite up there. We started with almost 31k. Alright, and we dropped down to 28, 27, but it picked back up. Okay, so you should be maintaining around at least 28k DPS. Okay, starting, even if you do miss a couple. And as you saw what I did there, I evaded into it. Okay, I made sure that I spaced it so that weakening charge would hit 3 times, and then immediately turned around and then started auto attack rotation. What I did is I worked in a triangle. So from here, right, Staff 2, right, back up, then evade sideways, boom, so a triangle. Easiest way to do it, basically. Okay, to keep yourself on the boss and on the mob, do like a triangle kind of thing. So Staff 2, back up, and then evade across. Staff 2, back up, evade across. Alright. Super easy. I mean, it doesn't really require a lot of space. You do hit with your dodge. Okay, that's extra damage. Keeps your DPS up there. Alright, so instead of a 0 damage per second evade, you're hitting the mob with maybe a 14, 13k evade or higher, depending on boons, buffs, etc. Here I have full boons and full buffs, but to be honest, not much difference damage-wise, because Steve, you don't work off alacrity, you work off quickness, and quickness is super easy to maintain. So all you really need is might, quickness, fury, and you're doing, you know, your damage. Also for these, I mean, we have warriors, boom boom, we have revenants, etc. Alright. Gonna be a little decrease in overall damage due to not being able to maintain Grace of Line and all that stuff, but so the numbers here should be pretty solid. Again, I am not on Zerker, I'm on Marauders and this thing. So there's also a big gap in damage anyway, full setup and, you know, this is the current setup I have. Because I transferred all my gear to another character for a short amount of time. But either way, these numbers are pretty decent. I mean, again, as you saw, the rotation's pretty easy. Evade to start, boom, auto, auto, 1, 2, 3, evade. Okay. So let's do a dry run. I do have permanent alacrity here right now, so that could be a factor, but again, it shouldn't be too much of a DPS loss. And these two are, for the sole purpose, there to increase your damage. Without them, you're only doing 1, 2, and that's not really much damage. So here we go. We're going to evade into it. So imagine this rock here, okay, as the mob. Okay. Evading into it. Staff 2. Auto, auto, rotation. 1, 2, 3. Evade. Alright. Staff 2 through. 1, 2, 3. Daggers. 1, 2. Boom. Evade. Staff 2. Back up while doing auto attacks. Then evade. Staff 2. Back up while doing auto attacks. Evade. Staff 2. Back up while doing your auto attack. And then your little thing. Then evade through. And staff 2. Back up while swinging. Evade. Staff 2. Back up while swinging. Do a dagger. Back up. Evade. Okay. Trying to keep your bounding dagger on. Okay. So I'm going to simulate a rotation where we keep the bounding dagger on. So here we go. So you can see bounding dagger is still on. Alright, evading, staff 2, bounding dagger is still on. Alright, evade, staff 2, bounding dagger. Evading, boom. Bounding dagger is still on. Evading, staff 2, back up, and then physical skill. Alright, evading, boom. So you want to try to maintain this. This is your bounding dodger, sorry, not dagger. Okay, try to maintain that throughout your rotation. It's an extra 10% increase in DPS. I mean, it's almost permanent, basically. Okay. We do have Vigor here, so that might be an issue, but again, there's a lot of classes that can give Vigor, Warriors, Druids, etc. Okay. Or you can pop food, either or. And that's it for this really quick and simple Thief rotation, or Daredevil, with a staff. Okay. Damage is pretty high, actually. You can compare that to a, I guess, Tempest. Depending on how good the Tempest has at rotation, you can actually have DPS the Tempest on single target mobs. Alright, and that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope it helped.